You're sweating. You are sweating. You're lying.
Sweating. You're lying.
It's never cold enough. It's middle of September.
Yes.
The sun is blaring.
Yes.
And you're picking your apples in your flannel and your overcoat with your leather boots. And I know those feet are sloshing.
With a beanie even sometimes.
With a beanie.
Who are you kidding?
Not us.
Who are you kidding?
Not us.
It's sweltering and there's bees everywhere.
There's bees everywhere. And there's apples rotting on the floor.
And there's about 6 apples in those trees.
Yes.
Maximum.
6. And there's 18,000 people in those little lines.
It's literally like, I'm sorry because I don't want to disrupt the apple tree industry. I don't want to disrupt apple farms.
I agree.
But enough. Like the orchards, I guess. We don't have to go, and we don't have to pretend we like it. We don't have to go. It's great, but then you go. Also, then you leave and you say, "What the fuck am I going to do with 18 apples?" When Mint Mobile says $15 a month with a purchase of a 3-month plan, they mean it.
To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/goodchildren.
That's mintmobile.com/goodchildren
for $15 a month.
For $15 a month?
Yeah. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
For free breakfast for life, go to hellofresh.com/freegoodchildren. 1 free breakfast item per box while your subscription is active.
That's free breakfast for life by going to hellofresh.com/freegoodchildren. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. It's just like every single week something is different with you, and this week it's what you drink out of. And it makes sense. I feel like it would make the most sense for you to drink out of a chalice.
And let me tell you, I mean, they sell this shit on Amazon. It's real metal.
You're kidding.
It's brass.
How much?
I don't remember, and that's part of my problem.
Okay. I'm nervous for people to look up how much
I don't think it wasn't enough for me to give me pause.
Yeah.
And I was buying it for a video, so it's like...
True. Isn't it sad that like now that thing could probably cost about $20, but back in the day, that was for the royalty.
Yeah, you have to wonder though. Like, I'm assuming that the royal one was made of gold, but and I feel like they had some brass.
Really, really by hand. Like they were really turning that.
But
out.
This is giving by hand. I know it's not, and I know I shouldn't be shopping on Amazon in the first place. But
it could be by hand. It could be by hand. Yeah.
That's a horrible thing to say.
I'm just saying. I mean, listen, it is a horrible thing to say, and I'm sorry that you're sipping out of it right now. This was also by hand.
Where's your shirt from?
Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
There's no ethical consumption under capitalism. No. There is worse ethical consumption.
I have been feeling really bad lately about it, though.
About your unethical consumption?
Yeah. Which is, I mean, that's not shocking that I started to just feel bad about it. Yeah. I have been feeling bad about it, but it is like, catch me at Zara every single week. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
Well, maybe the problem is I just need to start making more money to shop at better places.
Yeah, I guess.
What are you looking at now?
No, I was just looking at your outfit.
Why?
No, it's cute. I was noticing that you put on those loafers. Did you have them on the whole day?
Yeah.
Wow. They're very, with the current outfit, they are very much giving Madeline. If you could just show the camera your feet. Like, I think with those gym shorts, they're not gym shorts. These are shorts that I ripped the belts off of.
Yeah.
I still have been waiting to fix those.
I still have the belt.
Okay, I could fix them. Maybe not. Maybe when I get back from my trip in 2 days.
These are my favorite shorts of all time. They're Dickies, but look at my little Dickie.
They're Dickies.
They're dicked up. Yeah, it's crazy.
They're ballsies.
I've been balled up on the trains lately.
Andrew, we were in LA and Andrew's like belt fell through the, what was it? Like it like got stuck. Like, you know, when like a drawstring gets like a little bit stuck in the hole. Mm-hmm. And Andrew was like, oh no, like it fell through the hole. And I was like, I can fix it. Just give me 1 second. And then I just pulled the entire thing out of the shorts.
And this is the thing. This is what I'm learning as of late. And I've said this before. It's like your confidence
I know.
in things is like, it is
Confidence
beyond.
is 80 to 90%.
Because I believe it. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
so do I.
yeah, of course he can fix my shorts. He pulls the entire belt out. Now my pants are falling down and pulling them over my stomach, which honestly, they're cinched.
But I can still fix a overdrawn drawstring very easily. So just give me a second and I can give you the world. It's that easy.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
Oh, imagine you dropped that whole mug on yourself.
I would honestly be more upset that the liquid I couldn't consume this yerba mate rather than my mouth. I would get naked on the pod. It's getting to a point where I'm pivoting really hard very soon.
We were naked like 2 weeks ago. It just was never released.
Not on the actual
This
pod.
is not the podcast.
Oh,
this is the Patreon? This could be the podcast.
No, this could be the Patreon.
It could be
I
the
was just
podcast.
chilling regardless.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy tone to set for the podcast. But sure. Let's get it out of the way. Let's get the podcast out of the way
Yeah,
this
I
week.
guess. Let's do it.
1, 2, 3.
Good children. Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Good Children, the podcast where hosts Joe Hegyes
And Andrew Muscarella reflect on their 24 years of friendship,
growing up in the late 2000s,
early 2010s,
and all of the nostalgia,
trauma,
and fall episodes that go along with it.
This is the thing with a podcast. It happens every year. And fall never goes away. So it's always going to happen one time a year that we're talking about fall.
La
La la la la la la la la la. Yeah, happy Gilmore Girls season.
I started it last night. I started my rewatch last night.
How's it going for you already?
Let me tell you few takeaways from the pilot. I fell asleep before it finished, I think, which is amazing for me.
How long are those episodes?
44 minutes. But I've been suffering insomnia. And
Why?
it was getting really bad this weekend. I don't know, but I really set the tone
You
last
think it's
night.
multiple personality disorder?
It's everyone's awake. Everyone wakes up at night. It's like my snails.
The devil's doing the dance in your head at night. Yeah.
No, really.
I
Really,
don't-
it's like I'm doing characters. I'm
course.
like doing the podcast. Whatever. Gilmore Girls. First takeaway. Lauren Graham, and I've said this before, and I'm not the first person to say this. Lauren Graham, especially like early seasons when she's like in her early 30s, looks exactly like Taylor Swift. Like, it's actually uncanny in the pilot. There are moments when like her side profile hits and you're like, that's Miss Americana. Like, that's Taylor.
Wait, you're kidding me.
It's so wild. They have the
Taylor
same
now or Taylor then?
Taylor now, Lauren then, because it's like Lauren Graham is like the same age that Taylor is now in the pilot of that show.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit younger actually, which is crazy. But like her nose, they have the same nose, they have the same exact eyes, same eyebrows, like same mouth region. It's uncanny, and
Do you
quite
think
similar personalities.
People are telling her that enough?
People are definitely talking about it. Like, it's definitely been discussed on the internet.
Okay.
But if you watch that pilot and there's this right in the beginning, she sits down at Luke's diner and there's this side profile shot of her where I was like, Taylor Swift immediately.
But neither of them are leaning into it.
No, well, I've heard rumor that or maybe not rumor, but I've heard rumor that Taylor was a Gilmore Girls fan growing up, and I've heard stories from Lauren Graham that she and Taylor have met and discussed the show. So there's overlap in
just
that
not
way.
publicly.
Not publicly,
Okay.
which I think would be strange for Taylor to do.
you
Although
think-
for
well,
Halloween this year,
I was gonna say for Halloween, if she did Gilmore Girls,
who could be her Rory? One of those 85 little girls
Yeah.
she brings around now. Gracie Abrams, Sabrina Carpenter,
I guess.
Gail.
A B C D E
F
F U.
U.
Your mom. You know what the thing is with Gail? I don't know anything besides that song, and that's my problem.
Didn't we see her perform live? No, we
No.
only saw Gracie Abrams
Yeah,
at the Era Store.
we saw Gracie.
Gracie. It's Lacey, I guess. by Olivia
Gracie,
Rodrigo.
oh Gracie.
People
Okay.
think that song's about Gracie Abrams.
No.
Yeah.
So we could also have a full episode
Where I
of
just tell you things.
just telling me things.
People have been
and
demanding it since
the
season
response
one.
is just
No.
no. It wouldn't be a conversation at all. It would just be my reactions to everything. But I gotta start watching Gilmore Girls because I can't tell you a single thing. I honestly can't. Besides Luke,
And let me tell you.
and I know
let me tell
every
you,
inch of Luke.
I wish.
I wish
I
too.
knew a few more inches of Luke.
Yeah,
Gaines,
I wish I like, because I love coffee, and I'd be at that diner.
You'd be just like Lorelai.
I'd be saying, "Hey, listen, I need a pig in a blanket very soon."
That's disgusting.
I'm sorry.
I will say, speaking, I guess it's just going to be like first half is Gilmore Girls. Watching it, I'm experiencing a similar feeling I've experienced when I watched Girls a little bit later in life, quote unquote, as I'm 28 years old. But I remember watching Gilmore Girls and like not really like receiving it. I guess no, I don't remember receiving it as vividly as I'm receiving it now.
Yeah.
And I think again, we're nearing the age of Lorelai. That's crazy. We're nearing Lorelai Gilmore age, everyone.
When did she start again?
Well, she had Rory at 16 and Rory 16 in the pilot, so she's 32. She's younger than Ross. Lorelai Gilmore is younger than Lemon Chiffon. And let that sink in for a second.
Now, how does Lemon Chiffon feel?
I know. It would make me sick. House.
But the thing is about me, I could also have a 16-year-old in 4 years.
Well, I always regretted not having a kid at 16. I always did.
You regretted that?
What?
Out of all the regrets in your life, you had some regrets. That
I
you didn't
remember
have a kid
me
at
and Sarah, when we were like in high school, we were like, wouldn't it kind of be amazing? We knew, obviously, Teen Mom was out. We knew all of the drawbacks, but we were like, imagine when we're in our 30s, how nice it would be to have like a 16-year-old kid.
Can you imagine you guys did take the plunge?
I wish.
Well, I'm not going to like... No, you guys were 16. I'm not going to think about that, but I can't think about you bringing yourself to say to Sarah, tonight's the night we're having a kid.
We're having a kid.
We're having a kid. How that kid would turn out.
Lorelai the Third.
You know what? No. I was going to also say you're going to put your kid to work. I was going to say your kid could have been our video editor, our lighting person.
I don't want my kids to know what a social media account is. I really don't.
You're going to keep them in the dark.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Are you good? You would raise them knowing the Stars Hollow.
Well, that's okay. To bring it back to Stars Hollow, there's a few things about that show that really bring me joy. One, Suki Lorelai. I know we've done it before. We'll probably have to do it again this Thanksgiving, just because rewatching the show, I was like, there's this moment in the pilot where Suki, and honestly, Evan and Amelia, HBO Girls rewatch, I wish they would do Gilmore Girls because. Yeah. There's a lot of detail that's being missed from
it's kind of like they go from girls to Gilmore Girls. Anything with girls.
I know.
Uptown Girls.
Uptown Girls, the film, yeah.
The film.
Imagine that whole season.
Season.
Actually, I think their Age of the Girls rewatch pod was fully 6 seasons long.
Yeah.
So they could just do
one season just on Uptown Girls. And then bring in Billy Joel.
And it's a whole Billy Joel season.
Mm-hmm.
Gilmore Girls, there's this scene in the pilot where Rory gets accepted into Chilton. Lorelai is like, fuck, like I have to spend $50,000 on the enrollment fee. I don't have that kind of money.
No.
Which is, I understand that's completely valid. If I was 32 years old, I also would not have $50,000. I also think most people don't have that laying around to throw into an enrollment fee like 2 days before you find out. But her home is quite massive, first of all, for Connecticut. Second of all, after that, though, there's this cute scene where her and Suki are like drinking white wine on the porch, like chatting and chitting. And I was like, oh my God, like I've never even noticed this moment. Like this is the real show. Like, but then I had this question.
What is it?
Why do we all want to live in Stars Hollow? What is it about that like we all watch that show and I feel almost sickness.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this is the life that I'll never be able to live.
See, okay. I think it's just because it's so well filmed. Like I feel the same way, and this has nothing to do with fall.
I can't wait.
I feel the same way about Emily in Paris. You know what I mean? Like they really hype it up, like, especially like the newest season when she's going to Italy. I'm actually sick that I don't live that life.
I know.
It's just seeing something that you don't have. But when it comes to Stars Hollow, it's the fall, it's the trees, it's that little quaint town that we're all longing after.
But why? What is it in the American experience?
We're here in a big city.
I think that, but even people who live in small towns, I mean, we've talked about it. Stars Hollow would certainly not be the town it was in 2000, whenever that show came out, 2006, 2007, as it would be now.
No.
Imagine the Trump rallies at Stars Hollow. Can you imagine it?
Can you imagine the Chipotle on the corner? I couldn't.
Oh my God.
Stop. I can't imagine.
There's a Kava in Stars Hollow.
There's a Kava in Stars Hollow, and we can't.
Holy shit.
Yeah, when you think about it that way.
And there's a Kava in Stars Hollow.
You know, Luke's we still have the locals there.
But there's
Starbucks is
a
around the
Starbucks,
corner.
Yeah. And Rory Gilmore is not boycotting.
No.
She is going to that Starbucks day after day.
She is getting her pumpkin cream cold brews.
Oh my God. Yeah, but really, you are the Suki to my Lorelai. And rewatching it, it is so apparent. It is so apparent. I do wish we got more backstory on how Suki and Lorelai met. A prequel.
Do you think that they met at the Hard Rock Pool when they were 4 years old?
Yes.
That's how we pivot. We're like, actually, we're gonna do a Gilmore
Suki
Girls
and Lorelai.
rewatch podcast.
More years.
Good Children turns into Good Gilmore Girls.
If we had a little bit more time in our hands, I would immediately do a side podcast that was just a rewatch of that. That exists. It's called Gilmore Guys. I'm sorry. It's like 5 to 7 years old.
Well, I love that for them.
Yeah, they like really broke the ground on the rewatch
was
pod.
Stars Hollow? Yeah, it was on the Warner Brothers tour when we were having a mental breakdown.
Yes, yeah. We couldn't even enjoy it. We couldn't even enjoy Stars Hollow when we did that Warner Brothers tour this past spring
because we felt pathetic.
We felt P-word.
For some weird reason, we felt so pathetic on that tour because
sometimes
we were like,
that just happens. Like, we felt really pathetic because, and it was honestly because we existed in the context of Sabrina Breyer.
That's exactly what it was.
Did. Like, we were on a tram paying to do a tour of the Warner Brothers lot, and Sabrina Breyer was shooting Abbott Elementary on the same lot at the same time, and just something about that felt like we are the biggest losers.
Like the idea of Sabrina catching wind or like seeing us on that golf cart made us sick.
Would she not just be like, oh my God, hi.
Hey guys, what's up? And that would have been the normal interaction.
Yeah, but we were like, this is humiliating.
We were with like a family with the girl who was like 16 loving it.
She was so happy.
And then I was having a mental breakdown because I was like, this was Joe. And then I was thinking about that. And then I was like, he's sitting next to me and we're both spiraling. And here Stars Hollow. Cool.
La, la. La 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 la. La, 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 la.
Are we gonna do that every single time that we have a mental breakdown on this episode?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So really what's smart. Like your favorite and then we can't talk about fall traditions.
No.
We can't talk about this shit. We've done it a million times. And maybe I'll make a little playlist of all the fall episodes for everyone.
And then maybe we also do like a drinking game during this episode. I know people watch it at like 11 a.m. when it comes out.
If you're watching it with your friends.
If we mention the word pumpkin, you know what I mean?
Well, drink up, because I was going to ask what your favorite pumpkin flavored thing is. Like, it could be a pumpkin spice latte from Dunkin' Donuts, which is probably mine, arguably. It could be a pumpkin donut. It could be anything of the sort. What would you say?
I would say I like a pumpkin bread.
Ooh.
Because you know what? I'm not a huge...
Is Chef Danielle Sepsi cooking up a pumpkin bread for the seasons?
She better be cooking up pumpkin bread. She does, I think... a pumpkin muffin. There are certain things that she doesn't love. Pumpkin is not one of them. But I know it's definitely, hold on, peppermint. That's a difference. No. Which I'm like, girl, let's chat. Because I think we have a few peppermint things in our brains that we can create. Pumpkin bread with a drizzle. Like some sort of like icing. Drizzle. Well, yes. Well, yes, but it's just a nice texture. It's soft. You can make it a la mode if you wanted. You can add whipped cream if you wanted. You can just have it plain if you wanted.
I love a bread. Banana bread, pumpkin bread, any kind of zucchini bread, and that's where you push it.
No,
but it's not bad.
But the thing is with zucchini bread, since
stringy.
No, I love because zucchinis are so
moist. It's moist.
It's so moist because they're so watery. Mm-hmm. So it really brings an amazing texture to that bread that people aren't often thinking it would.
I don't think people are having the breads enough as desserts.
I completely agree. They think it's breakfast,
right?
And
or it's like not even like worth taking.
No,
it's like when we were at Hunter's Gaga Boat and carrot cake was thrown out to the mix and no one wanted the carrot cake. You're missing out on something beautiful when you're denying yourself something like that, like a densely vegetable ridden dessert.
I just think that like breads and loaves are not they're not looked upon in a way that they should be. Like, I even think about sometimes, like, if I was at Dunkin' Donuts or if I was, like, at a different coffee establishment and there was a loaf of sorts there, that's last resort for me.
I know, but, like, I mean, the lemon loaf had its big moment last year.
Yeah.
It had its big moment. It was honestly the Sabrina Carpenter of 2023 in
Yeah.
some ways. I do agree, though. I just think it's because it's not sexy enough. Like,
Yeah.
a piece of, like a thickly sliced piece of bread doesn't appeal to the general public.
No.
To bring it back to Chef Danielle Sepsi and the Hungry Gnome, that fucking Nutella banana bread.
You're right.
One of the best things I've ever
had
eaten in my life.
Yeah. That, to me, feels sexy.
Yeah, I agree. But it's hard. It's hard when you're looking at, a cupcake, even a muffin sometimes feels more appealing than a piece of bread.
Oh, absolutely.
But I do love a pumpkin muffin.
Is that your fave?
Now that you bring up the pumpkin bread, I kind of feel like I might have to net out over there. I've had every pumpkin flavored thing under the planet. I'll say something I don't care for is the Trader Joe's pumpkin tortilla chips. I don't like those.
I didn't even know those really existed.
I was having some last night. They're very starchy. They're very starchy and a little too sweet. And you know me with a snack. It can't be too sweet.
It can't be too sweet.
I don't have a sweet tooth.
No, and it quite frankly pisses me
you off. Yeah.
It pisses me off because I think that I like to curate a friend group of people who like sweets because, one, I need someone to enable me. Sorry, I need it. Two, it's just like when you finish that meal, you know you have something in store.
And that's different.
But you have never, and this is what's really sweet about you.
I'm not a dessert person.
No, you never really... I'll make a dessert and you'll have it.
Oh,
and I know
course.
you will.
I enjoy it. It's just not what I would go to. Like yesterday, Gary and Garrett were over and they were snacking on a pumpkin tortilla chip and like a Harvest salsa that was also sweet. And I was like, how the fuck are you starting your night with like basically like a gazpacho? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was so sweet. It was just, I was like, I need something salty to start my night.
Yeah.
I could end on a sweet, but I have to start with a salt.
Do you like sweet potatoes? Do you like sweet potatoes like that?
Not really.
But
I used to love them. I used to love a sweet potato, but my tastes have changed. I'm sorry.
No.
I mean, obviously, if it's coated in like fucking marshmallows, yeah, but that's a different story.
But you see it as you see that as the sweet because I mean, when I think fall, I think sweet potatoes. Not even pumpkin. I think sweet potatoes because sweet potatoes are so versatile in the fall. And I'm sure I've talked about this before. But if you are not making, well, you don't have to make it homemade. But if you don't have a restaurant near you, that's okay. A homemade sweet potato gnocchi with a brown butter sage sauce. Have I talked?
I mean, I've had your homemade sweet potato gnocchi with the brown butter sage sauce before.
I mean, the closest thing you probably could get that also at Trader Joe's. I'm pretty sure that they have that.
But you've made it for me many times.
I made that.
Yeah.
You
were happy. You were happy.
That was when I was 24.
Yeah.
That was before the podcast. I think
it all goes downhill when you turn 25 and start a podcast.
It
all goes downhill when you turn 25 and start a podcast. People are always saying that.
People are always saying that. Like, I'm not making sweet potato gnocchis like that anymore. So if you're out there and you don't have a podcast, which I would say at least half of our listeners don't, and if you don't, start making the sweet potato gnocchi for the fall this season.
Wait, speaking of half of our listeners, out of the 19 million that we do have weekly, 19,000. What is it?
No, 19
million. 19
yeah.
million.
It just went up.
To 20?
No. From last
18,
I think it was 18, now it's 19, yeah.
It's hard to keep track because it changes. It's going up so fast. Remember the buzz with Beth? Remember our caller, the buzz with Beth, who was like, I'm getting like bullied a little bit, but I like wanted to do my podcast. Girl, she's doing better than us.
Wait. No, I know Beth.
Yes.
I know Beth. She has a stunning background.
Yes, and she goes viral.
She has like that bob.
Yes.
She has, oh my God. No,
millions and tens of millions of views.
She's hilarious.
It's crazy. And the way I honestly like was looking at her format, I was like, she's a genius. She's reinventing how a podcast reel should work. So, Beth, good for you.
Beth, you did it.
Beth is no longer listening. Beth has moved on.
I'm sure she's not listening anymore.
She has bigger things to handle.
We'll send her this clip and maybe she'll acknowledge us. You know, it's like we're the has-beens.
Oh, God.
No, we're not.
So full.
What is like okay, we're not talking food. We're not talking drinks. What do you want to do in the fall? Like, what is your number one fall thing to do?
I want to have...
Or give us your fall fashion tips, honestly, because I think people want to hear that.
That's so kind of you, Andrew. Thank you. I what I was going to say wasn't appropriate for a podcast, so I'm going to save that for Patreon, for my number one thing to do in the fall, but I'll save that for Patreon.
Fist?
When have I ever been fisted or fisted? I famously have never fisted or been fisted.
But I was thinking that you were going to go like a fisting fall or something.
No,
like
no. Nothing to do with that.
Okay.
Anyway, the number one thing I'd like to do in the fall is rent a cabin with a few friends and have a gorgeous, gorgeous weekend upstate. Mm-hmm. I've only done that once, and it was with one friend, and it was Rachel, and it was when we went to film a podcast that was never really released, but...
You should release it on this Patreon. We didn't even
really get to enjoy it. Well, this is the actual podcast.
On our Patreon. That's at this point, if you're not going to put it public.
Out on Spotify, actually.
Wait, I love that.
But we didn't really get to enjoy our experience because we worked from actually sunrise to the middle of the night shooting the podcast that we never released. But it's so nice to just be somewhere and like drink a hard cider and like enjoy nature and be a little bit terrified for your life.
It is a beautiful thing that we live in the Northeast.
We are very fortunate, especially in the fall.
And I can't imagine. Listen, if you're trying to take a trip this fall, I would come over here.
And I'm going to personally on this podcast beg Getaway Cabins to send us on another trip. Please.
Getaway, please, during the fall.
Because that was gorgeous in the
amazing.
spring.
Oh my
Imagine
God.
it in the fall?
No.
Imagine that. Imagine Caterskill Falls in the fall. Caterskill Falls in the fall.
And I will be falling in those falls. Sometimes I think about that's the easiest way.
To kill yourself?
I wasn't going to say the words flat out, but to fall in the falls, yeah.
So sometimes you think that the way that you would end your own life would be to jump into a waterfall.
It would be kind of beautiful.
What a hard pivot.
Sorry, you brought
suicidal ideation.
You brought up Caterskill Falls.
So never mind, Getaway. Do not send us there.
No, I'm kidding. I won't do anything. I won't do anything.
But yeah, I just feel like it is a great place to be. I love a road trip upstate when the leaves are turning. I think it's so special. It is the best time of the year because it's fleeting. It's the quickest to go, and you need to enjoy it when you can.
Because when December comes, it smacks you in the face. But then it's the holidays.
I'm so scared though.
No, I'm not excited for January, but Joe's already got 18 trips planned, so that's fine.
I have one trip planned. It's Australia, and that's like how it goes. I'll see you girls. I'll see our Aussies.
Yeah, me too.
January.
I'll see you guys in January.
Back again. Fashion,
I feel like I wonder what my fashion's going to be this fall. Because I don't think I'm necessarily going for flannel fall, although I always will have them in my repertoire. I always will. But who's to say? It could be like... Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going to be a big sweater fall. Big sweaters.
Well, you're always a big sweater.
Not for long.
Are you going to get your fucking sweat glands injected next?
Next? I haven't come clean about everything, okay? On this podcast. Only on Patreon.
I think for fall fashion this year... I don't think I'm going to really pivot that hard from what I've been doing. I feel like for the first time, I'm like really locking into an aesthetic. I just love fall for like a light wash jean.
Yeah.
And I really want to get one of those Irish Aran sweaters. You know, the ones like the fisherman sweaters.
Yes.
Rory Gilmore wears one in the pilot of
course.
Gilmore Girls. And I was like, I've wanted one of these since I first watched this show.
Yeah.
And I really, really think that's going to be a big moment for me. I'm sure by the next episode, you'll see me in that.
Yeah.
Actually, you won't because the next 4 episodes will be in costume, but... Or 5, maybe.
We're just pivoting straight again to costumes. I think that's what's going to happen.
The Glam Awards are coming up. We got to get nominated for a drag award.
We really do, please. But I think fall is meant for Madewell. I do.
I do think Madewell thrives in the fall for sure.
Yeah, like that seems to be the pivot for fall. It's like that type of fashion. It's the
conservative cosplay.
It is conservative cosplay. And we've said it before, we'll say it again. But then it's crazy that each season is defined by its own shop.
What would you say summer is? What?
ASOS.
That's true. What would you say winter is?
Winter, I would say, is meant for like almost, I guess it is like the Madewell has fall and winter and like kind of like J. Crew. I'm in like a big chunky sweater.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a
Spring?
thick coat. Spring for me is probably Zara. Zara Spring, Zara Summer, as well as ASOS. So the fast fashion
Really kicks in the
when
spring.
you start sweating.
Okay.
And then in the fall and winter, you're paying a little bit more to get those quality items to keep you super warm.
We'll be right back after a few ads. Did you know that all plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network?
No, I didn't know that.
Well, it's true.
Now I do. And that is all you need.
And you can ditch your overpriced phone plan for a straight-up Mint Mobile what is it? Get 3 months and deal and get 3 months of premium or whatever. Ditch your say it, please.
Ditch your overpriced premium plans from other networks because it doesn't need to cost that much. It costs $15 a month for a 3-month premium plan at Mint Mobile.
To get the new customer offer, visit mintmobile.com/goodchildren for just $15 a month.
That's mintmobile.com/goodchildren. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month. mintmobile.com/goodchildren.
That's mintmobile.com/goodchildren to cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month when you sign up for a 3-month plan.
When I'm cooking, sometimes what eats up the most time is searching for a recipe. And I can't spend any more time searching for a recipe.
You can't.
No, and with HelloFresh, the recipes are given to you. The thing is, too, sometimes there's a spice that's like a little bit pricey or you can't really find. They have those spices prepackaged.
Of course they do. It
Of
makes
course.
your life so much easier and it makes you feel really confident in the kitchen, which I think is 80% of the battle, as I said earlier this
And I
episode.
love to see you confident in the kitchen.
I love to see a confident chef in a kitchen. I like that HelloFresh appeals to people who have all different kinds of dietary restrictions. You could do a vegan box, you could do a vegetarian box, you could do a pescatarian box. As someone who's terrified to cook meat, I'm choosing pescatarian every single time.
And I'll tell you one thing. All of their meals are amazing, especially their breakfast.
Well, and Andrew, did you know you could get one free breakfast item per box for life when you visit hellofresh.com/freegoodchildren.
That's free breakfast for life. When you go to hellofresh.com/freegoodchildren.
And we're back.
I hope you guys like our ads.
I know it honestly causes us physical pain every week, and not like just because I think we have something wrong with us.
I agree.
It's really hard to read.
I'm like, I can't imagine. No, but I think we try to make them good.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying we don't know how to like read a piece of paper and then say it. Like it's become problematic for us week after week.
But we're actors.
Yeah.
So if anybody is like casting for films and stuff, that's for us. We're good at that.
Did you play soccer?
Did I play soccer?
I played soccer with you.
You played soccer with me. I honestly, I would pick up a ball again, though. Are you asking what I'm going to see?
I would love to. I think soccer is the least threatening sport you could play.
Because it's
all in the foot.
And if we're good with one thing,
it's feet. It's feet.
It's feet. It's kicking that ball. It's running around. You're just having fun.
Shin guards. Never felt safer than wearing a shin guard.
Very gay.
Wearing a shin guard is gay?
Just get kicked in the shin. I'm sorry.
There's nothing worse.
I still would.
Than a
honestly,
shin kick.
I think I could walk around. You would start wearing shin guards on the street. I'm sorry.
That's like so Bushwick next summer.
It is.
Yeah, actually.
It's like Adidas shoes with a shin
guard,
and a little skirt.
Yeah.
Those girls are going to be eating it up in Bushwick.
Shin guard spring.
Shin guard spring is happening in Bushwick in 2025, and I'm being serious.
Yeah, I agree.
I completely agree. But soccer, yes, I do love soccer. I was never good at soccer. I never understood what was going on in soccer. I could care less about what was going on in soccer. I don't really want to watch soccer, but I would play soccer.
When did you first have a sip of coffee?
When was my first sip of coffee? It actually was in the fall.
Yeah, 17. Of course it was.
17.
You were 17 years old the first time you ever
Isn't
had a
that
sip
late?
of coffee.
Isn't that late?
Were you afraid it was going to stunt your growth?
Yeah, I felt, Joe, there were so many things when it came to coffee stunting my growth. I thought, like, why does people need caffeine to actually just feel like they need to exist? Like, I had so much energy. Look at me when I was that age.
Yeah,
you know, the last thing I needed was a super, super light caramel iced latte,
From Dunkin'.
large, from Dunkin' Donuts.
And that hit you at 17.
And it hit me at 17, and from the rest of the time on, that's all I would drink.
I think I had my first cup of coffee at like 8.
I'm sure.
But not like in like a series. It was probably decaf.
Yeah.
But I vividly remember my first Dunkin'. I think it was in the summer, late summer.
What'd you get?
I think it was just like a light and sweet.
Yeah.
It had to be a decaf. I remember it being so small.
When did you pivot?
Like when I started actually drinking coffee. I mean, that was like a random special treat. I feel like probably the next time I had coffee was like 14, 15. Definitely like it was like Dunkin' and like Starbucks' fault though.
Yeah.
It was like that, like once those like trendy drinks came out, I was like, I need to go here.
Yeah. And then I got away from coffee and I got right to like those refreshers. I was on a refresher game for a while. And then I'll never forget the first time I ever had espresso.
You were having
That
espresso with the
shit
lattes.
Hit me. No, but straight.
Oh.
No chaser.
That's that me.
That's when I found myself for the first time
When you
having
found that me.
espresso. When I found that me for the first time when I had a double shot of espresso when I was 18 years old in college. Something came over me. I've never had the shakes quite like that in my entire life.
Really?
Oh my God, it hit my veins in a way that I've needed for a really long time.
That's nice.
I haven't felt that feeling, and it's probably since.
I've never really felt that with caffeine.
Well, because we get immune to it.
I know.
And that's sad. But not with yerba mates. I feel like yerba mates still hit me. They hit me in a way that's like almost like I should be locked up.
Yeah, it's definitely.
put
Maybe
away?
the yerba mate should be like an over the counter or behind the counter.
I wouldn't be
How does that work?
shocked.
Which is OTC? So over the counter means I can pick it up at the store.
Yes.
And what's the other option?
BTC.
Is that actually a thing? Is it behind the counter?
I don't think so.
But isn't that like over the counter?
I feel like over the counter is something that's like not just easy to get. Because like you need insurance.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So over the counter is not like
Like-
it's not Tylenol.
No. You're not like
It's
running
over
into
the counter.
Yes, you're not on those aisles in CVS saying, "Oh, I
I
need
mean,
like
over the counter drug.
like when I'm getting my Allegra D, that's over the counter.
That's OTC.
That's OTC.
Yeah.
And then
Regular Allegra
regular Allegra is, what would you say that's
in front of the counter.
in front of the ITC? Yeah.
In the aisle.
In the aisle, the ITA. Yeah, for sure.
ITA.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so. I have no idea what we were just saying.
I honestly don't know why I brought up over the counter medicine.
But I mean, do you want to get it?
It was because I think that yerba mate should be over the counter.
I was gonna say, and actually, I probably shouldn't say this, but I do think that no, I was gonna say if there was ever to be somebody who was to drop from yerba mate
It'd be you.
consumption, it would be me.
Okay. What's your favorite fall tradition? What do you most look forward to in the fall?
For me, it's just honestly, I feel like I come together with friends again.
That's sweet.
The most when it comes to watching movies, when it comes to having sugar cookies, when it comes to literally anything that I can just be sitting my ass down on the couch with the window open and a pumpkin candle lit and some cookies baking in the oven and a nice movie marathon happening and my friends coming over with a charcuterie board with different actual nut-based cheeses. Because sometimes they have those little berries in there or nuts.
Lidl.
And at Lidl, I love Lidl for the fall with some different crackers. The ones they have like cranberry seeds in them and shit. Yeah, I want that on the table, and I want about 3 to 6 friends sitting in the same space in their comfy, cozy clothes.
La,
La, la, la, di, da, la, 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 di, da, la, di, da.
Well, that actually reminds me of the best time of my entire life, fall 2020, when you had me and Rachel over at that time, and we social distance on your couch.
Yep.
And
Did
that
I order Phil's Pizzeria?
Girl,
What did I order?
why did I want to say it was Zorn's?
I probably did.
I think it was almost both.
I think I ordered
There
both.
was pizza. There was that meat pizza for sure.
Oh yeah, because if I was having you guys over, we had pizza. There was like a little appetizers, but then I think it was it was colonial night.
No, I don't think we ever experienced colonial night.
No, but I think that we kind of came close. Was it not a Thanksgiving based meal?
I think there was Zorn's.
It was Zorn's. You're right.
Zorn's and pizza.
Because, and for those of you who are listening at home that do not know what Zorn's is, I don't blame you. They should
at this point.
Because it's a Long Island staple. Actually, is it a Long Island staple or is it just ours? Like, there's like one location or two locations.
I know, but I'll never forget you talking about their sesame chicken tenders to Amanda on the Patreon that time.
And she was like, those don't exist.
No, well, your description of them was crazy.
What did I say? They're the best things you've ever had?
Yeah, but what was confusing to everyone was the ultimate recipe for the Zorn's sesame chicken tender is just a chicken tender with sesame seeds on it, right?
Yes.
That's just odd to me.
But you can't tell me that sesame doesn't taste like something.
No, I guess you're right. I'd like to try it.
Welcome to the state. That's a good one. Sesame.
Sesame?
French.
Sesame?
Sesame.
Welcome to the stage. Sesame in Paris.
Yeah. I heard someone say the word willy-nilly the other day. I thought that was a good one too. Welcome to the stage, willy-nilly.
The drag king name.
That's a good drag king name.
I'm sure there is a willy-nilly, and I'm sure there is a sesame. I'm sure.
There's no Zorn's.
There's no Zorn's. Back to Zorn's.
Back to Zorn's. No, that was one of the best nights of all time.
Did you ever finish describing it?
No, so Zorn's is just like it's been around, I can only assume.
Since like the 60s.
60s, the 50s to 60s, but 60s sounds right. They were slaughtering chickens for a bit. They stopped doing that.
You would pick your own chicken.
You pick your own chicken, they'd slaughter it for you, and then you can bring it home. But that doesn't happen anymore. So listen, I'm sure they listened, they learned, and they understood. Now it's just it's a comfort food. It's honestly comfort food. And for the fall, me near a meatloaf in the fall.
I love a meatloaf, actually.
I love a meatloaf.
Like,
come on.
Call us crazy, but like, is there a better food?
No.
And it honestly reminds me of pumpkin bread and banana bread. It's honestly the same shape.
Because we love what we're going to take out of this episode is we love loaves.
Foods. We love loaves.
We love loaves.
Any kind of loaf.
Because when you can put it in one of those loaf tins, and then you just slice from there, it's thick. It's amazing. With some ketchup. But it's not even just ketchup on the top of a meatloaf that makes it good. I'll tell you right now.
Go ahead.
Ketchup. A little bit of brown sugar in there, and I know sometimes that's crazy for you.
No, that's okay for a meatloaf.
I feel like there's some Worcestershire,
of course,
in there,
yeah.
And then I just kind of feel like you mix it up and you slather it on top, and that's all you really need. That's all you really. I would dip anything in that. Why aren't they selling that? Meatloaf sauce. Is meatloaf like some people's worst nightmare?
I'm sure. It sounds like
especially vegetarians' worst nightmares.
Yeah.
Is like that. Don't get them near a meatloaf.
No, of course not. Get them near a piece of bread.
Get them near a lemon loaf. They can have their lemon loaves and I can have my meatloaf.
And that's beautiful.
And that's how we come together as this country. I honestly think
think that's what's going to solve it?
I don't think that anybody's running on that platform, but I would run on the platform of Loaves. And say
at the end of the day, we can all gather around a loaf. If you can't gather around a loaf with your fellow Americans, what can you do?
What can you do? A loaf of bread, a lemon loaf, a meat loaf, a pumpkin loaf. Honestly, like you can put anything in a loaf and it's good, I can assume.
A spaghetti squash.
I'm willing to take back what I've said. I know that I created a stir on the internet back in the day. And I was just not having spaghetti squash in a way that I wanted to have it. I was thinking spaghetti squash was just a supplement to pasta. And maybe that was my own problem in my head. But I'll tell you one thing. I know you can make it good. I know you can cook it well. I know it doesn't have to be super crunchy. I know it can be al dente. Okay? I know. And I'm willing to listen. And I'm willing to try it again this time.
You can make it al dente?
You can make it pretty al dente if you wanted to. You just have to cook it a little bit less, and then it's like a little bit crunchy.
I never, ever want to eat a pasta that is not al dente. Enough. Grow up.
Because when you have that mushy shit near me, what's the point? Call it a mashed potato. I'm slipping into a delusional psychosis that's not. I feel like I can speak out of my own minute at this moment.
What is your favorite fall memory?
You want to talk favorite fall memories?
Yeah, I do. I would love to.
Long Branch.
Yeah, of course.
And we've talked about it before, but Long Branch. And you know what? Say what you want to say.
And we could never replicate it. It was alchemy.
We can never replicate it for multiple reasons. Let me go through them.
Yeah, please.
Reason why we can't replicate our Long Branch experience is one, we both...
City in the United States.
Favorite city of the United States is it's Long Branch, New Jersey. One, the house no longer exists.
It's horrible news. horrible number one.
Two, we both
we're
no longer have ED.
Well, in many ways. Thank you, saw Rocket RX.
Yeah, I have ED for sure. But two, we're not waking up in the mornings at 6:30 in the morning and saying we got to go for a run, and that's our mental state.
Follow it with a HIIT workout, and then follow it with a yoga class.
Yeah, that wasn't before 9 a.m. We weren't doing three. We won't do 3 workouts before 9 a.m. ever again.
And I don't wish, but I do. I don't wish for the unhealthy side of that, but I do wish I had that level of energy. Yeah, the mentality. Like, I never felt better mentally.
No, because I mean, again, you're doing 3 workouts before 9 a.m. and your endorphins are through the roof.
Yeah, that's why we were so fucking happy. We were actually on the verge of a true break.
We were
the most manic we've ever been.
I was taking meetings in the house, and we were still working. Some of us were working from home at that time.
Did I have a job? Yeah, I had a job.
Yeah.
I must have taken off.
You had to have taken off.
Yeah. Which is shocking.
Another reason?
COVID-19.
COVID-19 doesn't exist?
Well, it certainly does.
COVID-19 exists, but not the context of it, of 2021
I
Long
want
Branch.
a super cut of every time you've ever... It was 2020.
2020.
I want every time you've ever said something that's anti-science in a super cut. COVID-19 doesn't exist.
I bet that's the clip that will go viral for us for sure. And then, our youth doesn't exist anymore either.
No, it doesn't.
And sometimes when you look back at memories, what makes me sad is the fact that we will never be that young again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We've actually really never had that issue in our 2.5 years of looking back at memories. I feel like
it just hit me now.
Well, sometimes it does hit me where I'm like, we really, especially it is kind of those early 20s that I think are the most jarring.
Yeah,
because when you're a teenager, you are like acutely aware of the fact that you're never going to be that young again. Like it is like kind of like in media, in movie, like everything, movies, TV, books, everything is like these moments are fleeting. Then in your early 20s, you're kind of like, I'm so young. I am the hottest piece of ass on the planet. Like, I'm amazing. And then that quickly gets interrupted by a pandemic, which cuts off like about 2.5 years of that. And then suddenly you're 28 with a podcast talking in the basement of your Bushwick apartment.
Yeah, like that pandemic, again, I know we couldn't have pre-planned it. I know it wasn't pre-planned, but the thing is, it had to come right after I came out because I was like, I was going to live my damn life. And that just hit me.
It gave you a second to sit with yourself, probably.
Oh, I wasn't sitting for shit, Joe. I was doing 15,000 burpees, and that's what it gave me because I was sprinting to Chromatica.
What is our girl's name? Heather Robertson. Love that girl.
If you're ever looking to get into fitness, I mean, obviously, like you can like start working out with me. That would be amazing. But also Heather Robertson. I'll tell you another reason why it won't exist. Because I wasn't even curling my hair at that time.
No, I know you were brushing your hair out.
I was too paid down. Too paid up.
Stylistically, I was exactly where I am right now. I've circled right back to 2020. Thank God.
I mean, you've always had a sense of style.
Thank you. Well,
yes. And I think that you ebb and flow. I think that you go in and you go out. Because you know what? The thing about you is you're not afraid to experiment.
I'm not afraid to experiment, and I'm not afraid to look stupid.
You really aren't.
I'm not.
And that is really admirable about you.
Thank you so much.
Because I'm afraid to look stupid. A lot of people would be afraid to look stupid.
Everyone looks stupid until they don't. Look at Addison Rae at the VMAs. We're going to look back on that and really celebrate it.
But if you don't feel stupid, that's all that matters.
Well, I feel stupid all the time.
I don't think I've ever looked at you and said, he looks stupid. Oh, well, I think
we could actually just roll the tapes of every other week on this podcast.
Yeah. No, but I wouldn't say stupid. I would say he looks a little bit crazy.
Yeah, crazy. I'm not afraid to look crazy, I guess. Is the thing.
Yeah. But what about you? What's your favorite fall memory?
Well, Long Branch is really an excellent option. I also, never mind. I also was just wondering,
But you go to, I feel like you do a lot of, not Salem, Massachusetts, because we did do that in the fall, but a lot of restorations.
Oh, Old Bethpage Village Restoration in Old Bethpage on Long Island is someplace I do love to visit in the fall.
Does the fall make you remember back in the day a little bit more?
Like you think my past lives
Yeah.
or present. I would say the fall really does recharge me. I think it's because once Leo season ends, that's always obviously a very important month for me. And then like Virgo season really does make me lock into some shit. Like year after year, it's Abigail Williams in The Crucible. Year after the year, I start a new creative project. Year after year, I have like a spiritual awakening in the fall.
Yeah. You get reborn.
I get reborn. Life starts all over again when it starts getting crisp in the fall. I have Scott Fitzgerald.
Born again mania in the fall.
In many ways. In many ways.
Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful. It's amazing.
It's a little bit disturbing, but
if are we anything if we're not
disturbing?
So
disturbing the peace, disturbing others.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
But yeah, my favorite fall memories, my favorite like tradition in the fall. I'm going to be honest, I probably have talked about this every year. I could do without I could do without the song and dance of telling my group of friends, yeah, let's go apple picking. Because you know what?
Never happens.
We're never gonna go. We're never gonna go apple picking, and it's just like enough of the fallacy of pretending.
We miss it at this point.
It's over.
It's over.
And it's just like, but it's just every time I have gone apple picking, it's been too hot.
Yeah.
I can't wear the outfit I want to wear.
No.
And at some point you say, am I just here to take an Instagram photo?
Yeah, and
then that adds a whole other layer of depression on top of it.
You're so right. People who are posting pictures of themselves picking apples in a flannel, you're sweating. You're sweating. You're lying.
Sweating. You're lying.
It's never cold enough. It's middle of September.
Yes.
The sun is blaring.
Yes.
And you're picking your apples in your flannel and your overcoat with your leather boots. And I know those feet are sloshing.
With a beanie even sometimes.
With a beanie.
Who are you kidding?
Not us.
Who are you kidding?
Not us.
It's sweltering and there's bees everywhere.
There's bees everywhere. And there's apples rotting on the floor.
And there's about 6 apples in those trees.
Yes.
Maximum.
6. And there's 18,000 people in those little lines.
It's literally like, and I'm sorry because I don't want to disrupt the apple tree industry. I don't want to disrupt apple farms.
I agree.
But enough. Like the orchards, I guess. We don't have to go, and we don't have to pretend we like it. We don't have to go. It's great, but then you go. Also, then you leave, and you say, "What the fuck am I going to do with 18 apples?"
You leave. No,
we make a pie.
Well, yes, but no, you're bringing those 18 apples home with you, but you're stopping at the shop on the way back, and you're getting the apple crumble, the apple pie, the apple donuts, and the apple loaves, and the apple cider. You're getting all of those things, so it's basically Disney World for the apples.
Yeah, I'm pissed off.
I just got really angry about apples.
Apple picking. But I'm shocked because I thought you were going to be in full defense.
No, not of the picking. I feel like there's so much that goes behind apple picking. The thought of apple picking is fun.
The commute.
You think about apple picking, you think we're all here together, we're sharing a sense of community. This is a beautiful moment for the fall. I know what I'm doing tonight, and it's that I have butter. This is what I'm thinking.
Sugar
I
butter
have
flour.
My unsalted butter that's sitting on the counter getting a little bit room temperature. I know that I got that dark brown sugar and I'm going to be making some sort of crumble. I know that when I'm approaching the apple picking. But once you get to the apple picking, you want to leave as quick as you can.
You enter the Hunger Games.
And it's always, you'll be with a group of people, you'll hear one person say, I found a good one. Because
I don't give a fuck.
Because you're not finding good ones.
There are no good ones.
No.
There are no good ones. And I'll say one thing. I do think pumpkin picking is slightly superior. Because at least it's in October. But I'll say this. Are we really picking the pumpkins?
No, you're choosing.
Are we really picking a pumpkin?
Pumpkin choosing.
Yeah, pumpkin deciding. because they're already destemmed. They're just, someone has taken those pumpkins, plopped them in a field in the middle of Long Island.
Yep.
And then I decide that pumpkin, I go home.
Oh, I miss her. I miss my home and careers teacher that owns that farm.
Oh my God, I also miss your home and career teacher
She
that
owns that farm. What
farm.
is that big farm on Long Island that she owns that?
Not White Post.
No, my gosh. Oh, it's going to bug me. I would go there all the time and hope to see her.
And the haunted house.
And the haunted house and the corn maze. I'll do that this year with you, though.
Haunted houses, I enjoy them.
I think we should staff one.
You and I should work. I think actually, yeah.
Joe,
I think the two of us
get me on the floor.
Could be two of the scariest scare actors that could ever exist. Can you imagine?
No.
Can you imagine how scary it would be?
I'm in the corner. They're like, I think that's somebody. I'm like, and like running. Yeah, like freaking them out. Like, I would be sobbing uncontrollably laughing. That would be the only problem for me, is like I wouldn't be able to break character, and that would be hard.
I think you would lose yourself to the character.
I think that we could be cast by Universal.
I think we could as well. I think you would really, though. It'd be like method to the point where we would never really see the real Andrew again.
You would kind of lose me.
Yeah.
You would lose me to the house.
Yeah, we'd lose you to love you as a scare actor.
Yeah. And I've always I'm honestly always thinking about that when I listen to that song, losing me to the house. But I agree, to bring it back to the pumpkin, because I think that we were onto something here.
It's a little bit song and dancey as well.
It's song and, but what I'm thinking when it's just hitting me here, we did just talk about age, and that like, oh, I look back at my youth.
Yeah.
But it is a beautiful moment for parents.
Yes, as a child, I think as a child it's wonderful.
And children. But then when your 28-year-old ass is at the pumpkin patch, I'm willing to throw elbows at any toddler that came that way for the perfect pumpkin. And there's always people surrounding the pumpkin that you want. I'm sorry. I'll say it. I didn't mean to say that I would abuse a toddler. I didn't mean to say that. Now that I'm thinking about that.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy to say.
Like over a pumpkin?
Over a pumpkin that you're not even going to take.
Like,
and I also I didn't feel remotely that you were telling the truth.
No.
Like I felt like you were doing it just to say you would hit a kid. You know?
I kind of feel very similarly.
Yeah, like it didn't feel authentic to your
It's
story.
like it was weighing on my chest or something.
I'm glad that you
that
immediately apologized.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, you guys.
I actually feel really relieved that you said that.
I feel sick, but yeah, I feel relieved that I could mention that.
I just think that we all it's like the American experience of wanting to be in Farmville. Like it's like, okay, so I can't really pick the apple. I can't really pick the pumpkin. Like I'm gonna buy a piece of corn that's already grilled.
Yeah.
Like what is this for? Like we all want to get back to farming. It's like let's start growing our own food again then, instead of going to a pumpkin patch.
Who thought this episode was going to turn into a shitting on fall? It actually just became like, fall's the best season.
And I really think if we go
pivoted.
back to the past 2 years, we have been like pumpkin picking, apple picking.
I want a little pumpkin in my picker. Yeah, I want to pick my pumpkin. No. Would you say if you had to be a pumpkin or a gourd, what would you be? And be serious.
I'm so gourdy.
Yeah, you're Gordian.
I'm gourdy.
You're a Gordian?
Yeah.
I'm pumpkin.
You're so pump.
Like I feel like I look very similar sometimes to a pumpkin, but
You do give
pumpkin.
butternut squash.
Well, lately, have you seen my hips lately? Or my waist?
Oh, is it snatch?
My waist is getting small, but not in a way that like I'm not really trying for that small waist. Something's happening with my waist lately that's getting small, but those hips are getting motherly. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I would say I'm a gourd.
You were a gourd. Yeah.
Because they're like.
Would you,
what I
if
mean?
I set something up, I say this every single time, people, all of our listeners are going to follow up and they're going to say, did he ever do it? No, of course he didn't.
Course
He never
not.
follows through on anything.
Who said that? What is it?
I'm sorry. If I set up like a pumpkin, you do this with your family though, but I think that it would be fun for some friends. A pumpkin carving.
Well, remember the pumpkin party of 2012?
I do remember the pumpkin party of 2012 when you made me feel like shit. Mm-hmm. When you made me feel like shit.
Yeah. Well, you made me feel like shit. You canceled last minute.
I did. And this seems to be a trend for my entire life. I cancel on people last minute. Then I make them feel like shit.
Yeah.
And you were one of the first.
I was one of the first.
That's horrible.
And then I repeated the cycle of violence with you.
Yeah, correct.
Going forward.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry about you.
Well, it's okay. And I think that, honestly, we could rectify that entire pumpkin party situation by hosting a pumpkin carving night.
I think we need a pumpkin carving.
No. Because here I'm going to go again. And I don't want to
Because the guts are going to be everywhere.
I don't want to be this person. Like, I just want to say, I love that. I don't think... And again, I'm speaking from my own personal point of view, my own lens. I'm never carving a pumpkin again in my entire life because actually there's genuinely zero pleasure in that experience.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Why is that something that we pretend to enjoy? First of all, for the first 45 minutes, it smells like something has died in the room from the interior of that pumpkin. You've been fisting a pumpkin for 45 minutes. The guts are from fingertip to mid-elbow.
Yeah.
The seeds, fantastic when you cook them.
Yeah.
I love a pumpkin seed. It's such a messy, stinky activity.
Yeah.
It's stressful.
Yeah.
It's time consuming. It's messy. It's stinky. And then you're never going to carve that pumpkin to the image that you want. I don't care how many decals you have. I don't care how many Sharpies you have to outline.
There's always a layer of disappointment.
Yes, always. I've never once carved a pumpkin and looked at it and been happy.
Yeah.
And so why would I do that?
You're always saying that eye's a little bit lower than the other.
Yes.
Oh, and then you have to put it out.
Yeah, yes. And then what? So a squirrel can eat it? And then it gets filled with mold and rots? Like, I don't
And then
think...
it droops over.
And I don't want to shit on tradition.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if my mother heard this, she'd be dead. She would actually collapse to her knees in the Stop and Shop. I'm sure she's in right now.
Yeah.
But it's just not exactly...
No.
It's not exactly as wonderful as nostalgia has painted it out to be.
I think we're just so unbelievably jaded.
I think we're very jaded this fall.
I think we're very jaded this fall, and something we need to be taken into taken away and like thrust into a pumpkin patch.
Well, listen,
by like the Willy Wonka of pumpkin patches.
And I would love to watch that movie.
Yeah.
It's like James and the Giant Peach, but it's James and the Giant Pumpkin. And you and I are James.
That's not a bad idea because you have to think about the legacy that Willy Wonka left with chocolate.
Roald Dahl is really just everywhere.
And who?
He wrote Willy Wonka or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and James and the Giant Peach.
Yes. But if you want to, does he follow you?
He's
close.
For sure passed away for many, 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 many years.
Well, I'm sure his spirit follows you.
Yeah. Well, I follow his spirit.
You're right.
Although I feel like there is some, anyone who was famous in the 60s.
Spirit's beyond us.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
the spirit has passed.
You just never know what. I don't know. I can't confirm or deny any allegations against Roald Dahl, but I'm just gonna assume there are some.
Okay.
But if there are not, I'm so sorry. I'll clear that up next week.
But I do think that there is something, because you have to think about the nostalgia of the movies, like the Halloween Town, the things that make you feel good, the Stars Hollow element. And then you have to think about what people felt when they saw that factory and they went in there and they were like on a gondola and the chocolate and there was, you know what I mean? So like if we were to take that universe of Willy Wonka's Chocolate World and we were to spin it on its head and we were to say, hey, listen, it's a pumpkin patch experience. There's maple syrups. There's pumpkin pies being baked. There's things like
sorry.
this.
What the fuck are you saying? Are you saying that you and I should host an experiential pumpkin patch factory?
No, I was saying that we should make a movie
in which you and I are thrust into a pumpkin patch factory, a la Willy Wonka's.
Correct.
Okay.
I think that could be a new fall movie.
I completely agree. I think that no one's ever thought of anything like that before. I do think that you have to. I will give you a lot of credit because
you're almost speechless.
It's hard to be original in this day and age. I'm honestly shocked.
Yeah.
I'm honestly in shock.
Yeah.
I could name a few fall things I do love though.
Name them.
I like candy corn. I love caramel apples. I love apple cider.
Yeah.
I like
apple cider donuts.
Yes. I love going for a brisk walk in the fall.
Yeah.
I love the trees changing. I love traveling around.
Yeah.
I love watching practical magic.
Mm-hmm.
I love, like you said, even the pleasure of opening a window and feeling a cool breeze.
That's all I want. Lighting a candle, lighting an autumnal candle, lighting something. And like, again, the pies, and I need everybody. And I'm not trying to make Long Island, we're not getting paid by Long Island.
And they will never pay us.
Long Island will never even acknowledge us. or yes, visit LI. We gotta get you to Brymere Farms. And we've said it.
And Harbs.
And Harbs and Brymere Farms. Take a trip this fall to the out east of Long Island, the eastern Long Island. Go to the vineyards and stop and get yourself a pie. Because I'm telling you, if you want to feel fall, you'll feel fall.
And you'll feel full.
Just don't do it close to the beginning of November.
Well,
okay? Not this year.
Oh, elections?
Not this year.
Yeah, there's going to be Trump rallies at Brymere Farms.
100%. 100%. But I agree with you. There are so many things that you can love about fall.
And I realized that most of those things I named besides the food are simple activities you could do at home for no money with no travel. I mean, it's about just enjoying the season change.
And I think it is a season that, and I know summer brings friends together as well, but it really does separate friends too. There's so many plans that are happening.
People are in everywhere.
But fall doesn't really seem to have a lot of plans besides hanging together,
coming together, and enjoying each other's company.
And that, I think, is the beauty of fall.
And that's my favorite part of fall.
I agree.
I don't need to go to a pumpkin patch to experience that.
No, I just want a good cozy sock on these toes.
And a comfortable sweater.
And a comfortable sweater. And a beautiful blanket.
Gilmore Girls on the TV.
And again, those sugar cookies in the oven.
Those damn cookies.
I
don't even need them in the oven. The moment that Pillsbury started packaging that with the information that you could eat those sugar cookies,
safe to eat raw.
I will never cook one again.
I mean, I was eating them before it even said safe to eat raw.
But once they allowed us to, once they said you can do this legally.
And it feels different when you eat them raw.
It feels almost like you're on a diet. It's like eating a salad when you eat a raw cookie.
Oh, I completely agree.
The moment it's cooked, it's like, okay, that's dessert.
Because there's a difference. Because once they're cooked and like they're warm, it's like, okay, this is a cookie. But when they're cold like that, it might as well be a vegetable.
Smoothie. Yeah, it's very vegetable.
It's very vegetable. I want fall to top me year long.
And it would, because you are
a bottom.
That's self-acceptance. And that's what fall is all about.
It is. And that felt good to say. Because I feel like I've been lying to a lot of people for a really long time.
And it just feels like, why are you going to pretend to be... And I know that you're not pretending to be a top. I know you actively top. But... It's like, why is there such a shame associated with being identified as a bottom to you?
No, to me, there's nothing. I think I've been working through the shame. I think that the reason that there was shame is because I haven't done it in so long.
Yeah, so you actually were like, you're actually calling me what I'm not.
I'm like, you're calling me what I'm not. Like, I know that I'm like a power top. You know what I mean? But like, then I'm realizing that I cut myself off from so many men by just topping. When they want to top this fat pumpkin.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I want to say, I had this thought because I'm always thinking it, but I've never verbalized it. If you've been here since the start of this podcast, like, that's actually incredible. Yeah. And like that, we're so grateful for that. Sometimes Truly. I remember that there are people who have been here since day one. Or even like month one or like year one. Like, that's crazy.
Or like at our first live show.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's been so much that's happened.
So many things have happened.
2.5 years almost. That's been nuts. And we have so many exciting things coming up that I can't wait to share with you that, like, we're doing it. We're doing it again.
Buckle up.
And
I think that some of you are going to be very happy, and then some are going to be very upset, but then you guys will also be very happy at a later date. So,
but I need some of you to be so happy
that you tell 100 friends.
To everybody.
Yeah, I need some of you to get on the ground and start spreading the word in a few Midwest cities.
And that's all we'll say.
Thank you for sticking it out, and thank you for going on this journey with us. And thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Don't forget to do your homework.
Like, comment, subscribe, rate, review. We're almost at 9,000 reviews on Spotify.
Really?
5 stars. I think that's insane.
Let's get to 10.
I know, and I've been saying 13 sounds good, but I will say let's get to 10 for the month of October. It's the 10th month. We need 10,000 5-star reviews, and that's really it.
We're not asking for much.
And I know you. Some of you go to a campus that has more than 1,300 people on it, and all we need is 1,300 more reviews. So Scream it in the middle of your quad. That's how you spread the word.
Scream it in the middle of your quad. And also scream where you could find us across all platforms at Good Children Pod. I'm on Instagram at Joe Hegyes and on TikTok at Be Quiet Joe.
I'm on Instagram at Andrew Muscarella and on TikTok at Andrew_Muskie. And with that,
don't forget to subscribe to our Patreon. One bonus video and audio episode every single Friday, plus access to over 100 backlog episodes of our Patreon for only $7 a month.
$7 a month, and we say some things on there that I regret.
Yeah,
we just are really vulnerably honest on there.
Yeah.
So,
and with that,
enjoy your fall. Get ready. Get those damn apples from the store if you want to, okay? And make yourself a pie. Bring your friends over and turn on the movies. And let's all eat about 4 to 5 packages of raw sugar cookie dough this fall. That's a good goal.
Yeah.
Right.
La 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 di da la 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 di da la 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 di da la.
I was trying to do something there.
It was good.
Like, I know. I felt like if you were to keep going and if I was to try to drop a beat in the back.
Well, that was all I know from that transition music.
Okay.